Hello everyone, this is Jackie Williams, and in this video I want to share with you 8 ways you can use your Deckled Circles dies. Now I'm going to show you one project from start to finish, and then I'll show you another 7 ideas, and in this month of February 2024 I'll also share a few more videos using the Deckled Circles dies as we go along. So for our project today, I'm going to use the Softly Stippled papers from the Celebration catalog, as well as the Softly Sophisticated stamp set for our images. Now, the Deckled Circles dies feature 14 different circles, all with this great deckled edge, which is just something a little bit different, a little more interesting than just a plain circle. And with all of these different sizes, there's lots of possibilities. So the ideas I'm going to share with you today are just some ideas. It's certainly not all-inclusive. So for our project today, I want to show you this cascading circle card. You will need to choose 4 sizes of circles, and I have chosen ones that are not right next to each other in the selection, but they skip one in between, so there's a little bit more of a border in between the circles. So the largest one is about 4.5 inches in diameter, and then you skip one and then choose the next smallest one, skip one, and so on until you have 4. And the smallest one is about a little less than 2.5 inches in diameter. You can choose a different 4 set of circles. I just thought this was a nice size. Now with the smallest circle, you're just going to want to cut some white, and then you can set that aside. Then with the other 3, you'll want to cut some pieces of your designer series paper. Now I have chosen to double layer these just for strength on the card, but you certainly don't have to. You can just use the designer series paper, and then you'll have a cool print on the other side as well. But I have chosen to use some of the white backing board that comes in our printed paper. You could just use some thick cardstock. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside for now. And then with the smaller 3, so not the largest one, but the other 3, you'll want to cut some pieces of basic white. And that's pretty much all the pieces that you need. You choose 4 circles. With the larger 3, you cut designer series paper, and then with the smaller 3, you'll cut basic white. And then you have the option to cut some thick backing board to go behind the designer series paper layers. Okay, let's start with the top circle, and we'll just quickly stamp these before we put them together. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use the Softly Sophisticated stamp set, and I'm going to use all of those floral images and then one of the word images for this one. And for the front one, I'm going to use the larger stamp and then the flowers. It's a 2-step stamping one. And I'm going to stamp my leaves in soft sea foam. Now there's no green in these papers, so I selected quite a light colored green. And I'm going to stamp the flowers in Lost Lagoon, which is a darker version of the pool party that's in the paper. Now I don't want my flowers really dark either, so I'm going to take this bone folder that I have dedicated for this purpose, and I'm just going to move some of that ink to the sides, and I'm going to ink up right in the middle. Now to get this on straight, I look at this piece here, and where that little piece of greenery is, I want that very smallest flower. There we go, and I'm happy with that. Now, the glass mat is a great surface for stamping photopolymer images. Then on the larger circle, which is circle number 2 in our, I'm going to stamp the other flower stem. And then I'll grab the other flowers, and you do need to take your time to just line up those small buds with the tops of these little greeneries that look like a little V. I'm going to come back to the front one. I'm going to stamp the hello in Pebbled Path. Now I just want to fill in that greenery down here, so I'm going to take my soft sea foam and my blending brush and just add a little bit of color to fill in some of that white space. And I'll use my little chamois that comes with the glass mat to clean off the ink. And then I'm going to use on this medium-sized circle the wild wheat and just add some words. And I think there's enough already on my brush here. And then using my pebbled path, I'll just add some thank you words. Okay, now their stamping is done. Let's go ahead and adhere those onto the appropriate circles. I'm just getting them as close to the center as I can. And actually this top one is just a little different. Now I'm going to back this piece onto a piece of that backing board that I've cut out of the paper packaging, those thick. I've got a couple here. You know, the packaging, that thick cardboard that comes in with it. So I'm just using those to give my pieces a little more strength. Now, it's a little bit of a trick to get the decals to line up, so I'm just doing it so it's not too obvious. So basically this white piece and the 3 designer series pieces I've backed with a little bit of backing board. If you don't have backing board, then you could just use thick cardstock or something similar. Now the reason why I backed that is because I want to tuck a little piece of a ribbon in between the white and the designer series paper. Now at this point I need to decide, do I want my card to open to the side or do I want it to open tall? And I'll put this on so that the ribbon is at the top. Okay, at this point, now if we're opening this way, then we need everything to be orientated like in that direction. Now when you do the stacking, you want to put your bottom layer and your top layer on upright, and you want to put your middle layer on upside down. So like this. And then what we need to do is we need to attach circle 2 and 3 together, and that will go here opposite the ribbon. And then we need to attach circle 3 and 4 together, and that's going to go here on top of the ribbon. So I'm just putting some little pen marks there. Now I still have the 1/16 circle punch that we had years ago. So if you don't have that, you could just use your paper piercer or something to make a hole. So now what we want to do is we want to connect circle 2 and 3 right where I've put that dot. And I'm going to grab a brad, and I'll just use the little white ones. I'm going to put that back in position. And now we want to connect circles 3 and 4. Punch a hole there or make a hole with your piercing tool. Grab a little white brad. Then when you open it up, it will look like this. Now I just want to add a little bit of embellishing. So I'm using the classic matte dots, and I'm going to use those gray ones. Then on the inside of my card, I want to use the birds and dragonflies. I think on this one I'll use the birds. I love that they go in different directions. And the other cool thing is that they're very flat. You don't want to use anything too thick because these need to move and they might get caught on things that are too tall. And then I'll show you the one that I did that moves to the side. All right, let me show you some more ways that you can use your deckled circles. But I thought that was quite fun. And that could be quite a fun kids card too. So another thing you can do with your circles is cut them out with 2 circles that are right next to each other in the selection. So they're, you know, just probably an 1/8 or 1/4 inch different. And cut them out at the same time like this. And then that will give you a ring. Well, it will actually give you 2 things. Well, it will give you a window if you're using that piece, but it will also give you a ring, but also another circle that you can tuck away for another project or use it on the same one. So I've used those rings here in just as a background using the Sending Love bundle, and just wanted to make kind of more of a masculine / neutral card for this Valentine's Day. And those dies are just so adorable and fun. That mailbox actually opens up and you can tuck an opening envelope in there. But I've just put those rings behind just as something a little bit different than having a sun. You can also use the Deckled circle dies to create a window so that you have things on the front and maybe suspended across the window, but also you can see through to the inside of the card. And this is the Trucking Along bundle here. And on that note, you can also use the Deckled circle dies to create a shaker card, which is like a window, but I've put acetate there and then just put some shaker elements inside. And it just doesn't actually go through to the inside of the card, but they are contained shaker elements in there with the cow bundle. And then this project was made by Leslie Scott, and this is a nice way to use them. It's just a fun way to create, for example, here a background, but rather than doing it all over the card front, the background is just contained right there on the circle just for something different. And then the little shadow behind kind of suggests perhaps a night moon. And this card was made by actually Emma Wilson, and what I liked here was the use of the circle to hold the main elements of the card, but then she's cut a circle in half just as a little bit of a different background, and I thought that was quite fun. And this card was inspired by Tammy Wilson, and what I liked here was using the circle as a background, but rather than just leaving it, it's been embossed with a timber folder and then sliced just to create a different effect in the background. And then here on this project, I've used these circles in a graduated pattern. So I've used every other circle again to give a bit wider of a ring, and then colored each one differently, just as a fun way to use them to stack on top of each other, but also to create just a fun and unique rainbow idea. So there are 8 different ways that you can use your Deckled circle dies. This is by no means comprehensive. There's lots of other ways, and like I said, I'll do some more videos using the Deckled circles to show some more fun folds and possibilities with these. Thanks so much for joining me. If you have someone who's interested in the Deckled circles or already has them and is looking for some ideas, please share this video. Leave me a comment and of course subscribe. This is Jackie Williams, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.